Welcome to Last Man In Podcast, episode Mark Shifley, number 55. What are your thoughts, guys? Good intro.
Working on that one.
That was
waiting
that was
years for that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're 2 weeks away from the Tyler Myers show. So
We are. Oh, damn. And then we're 3 weeks away from Coke Stroke, Chris Letang. That was Cameron Holmes saying that, not anyone else. Just Cameron Holmes.
that was the views of Cam, not the podcast. So
The views and expressed are solely of Cameron from Last Man In. That's all it's going to say. Whenever me and Greg are on the podcast, it's only Cam and Greg, no one else. Yeah.
we don't exist.
Does anyone wear 59 in the NHL? That's odds on the worst number I've ever seen on a
There's
jersey.
got to be one.
The worst number. I'm serious. 59, 58, bad. 59, horrendous.
Considering all the prospects we've had, we've probably had one that's worn 59.
I'm trying. Yeah, but in a game, I'm trying to think.
No, any game, I don't know.
Like any NHL player
Yeah.
wears 59? I'm sure there's got to be one. There's like a list of like jerseys. Like, I mean, obviously, I have to look it up. I'll look it up.
See if there's any number. Is that a Toronto Maple Leafs background?
Absolutely is.
Very nice. Look at this guy.
Yeah.
I have Chelsea right now and Minnesota Vikings.
At the same time?
Well, yeah, you got a lock screen and a.
Oh,
They play
okay.
the same season.
Okay.
So Chelsea's the back with the cool waving flag. We're talking about hockey here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's jump right into it. Jets news, guys. You got Jets news? Because I got Jets news.
I don't have any Jets news.
It's okay. It's not that important. But 2015 NHLPA Rookie Showcase. The Jets have 4. I think they have the most. I'll let you guys guess the 4 prospects that are going to be there.
Morrissey,
Correct.
Ehlers,
Correct.
Hellebuck,
Correct.
Kopp.
It is a forward.
Oh, it'll be the guy they drafted this year, Jack Roslovic.
False.
Lemieux.
Really?
Brendan Lemieux.
Nope.
Really?
Come on, guys.
Armia.
all right.
Seriously?
I don't
No.
know. Who haven't we said?
Nicky Patin.
Oh, I thought you said
Alright.
Patin.
I didn't say
Oh,
Patin.
Yeah, Nick Patin.
59, Roman Yossi.
Oh, he's
Wow.
a really good
Hey,
defenseman,
that
too.
ain't bad. That is not a bad number
Keith Ollie from the
59.
Toronto Maple Leafs as well, apparently.
Oh.
So.
Yeah,
There we go.
I don't know.
I don't think he's. I don't think he's played for the Maple Leafs in years.
He has earned that number 59.
Yeah.
The Flyers have Sam Warren and Travis Sanheim, and the Leafs actually have 3. They have Mitch Marner, Kasperi Kapanen, and Connor Brown.
All right.
When's that guy making his debut?
I don't know.
This year?
I hope they let him stay in the AHL for another year. I don't want them to come into a shitty environment. They're gonna be so.
When is the environment
bad.
not going to be shitty?
Let them do
Let
well
them
in
have
the AHL, and then
Yeah, him
it's
and-
gonna be an awful year in the NHL. I'm not looking forward to the season as a
For the Leafs?
No, it's gonna be so.
You
bad.
know what? I'm still okay. I want to get center ice, but last year I had center ice and I was so jacked up for it, and then I just did anything else but watch the games because I'm I want to go out,
Yeah.
and it's
I never wanna go, but I'll go out
$200 just. So I'll just maybe stream it totally legally. I won't say what website, but it works great. The odd time it blacks out, but
It's good. I like that. I had a friend of mine have that, and he let me use it. But I just watch the highlights at the end of the night because you can go through the games and watch all the highlights instead of actually having to watch every single game.
Yeah.
Because TSN isn't going to play the Nashville
Toronto versus Florida.
They might play that one just because
Well,
it's
they'll play
Toronto.
that.
Okay, yeah,
But
Nashville,
it won't
Tampa.
be some no name team LA is playing San Jose. You'll get 30 maybe a 10-second clip,
Yeah.
and this is the final goal. It's oh well.
Why don't they just offer
Sweet.
that? Why don't they do that as the NHL app? Why don't they just charge $5? You get all that. They're $10. Would you pay $10 for a year to just get the highlights of games?
I could do that. Yeah.
$10 for the whole year?
Yeah.
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 I don't see what's wrong with that.
Yeah. Or I know this year I heard rumors. I don't know if it's true or not because I tried calling I'm through Rogers, so I tried calling Rogers, but they don't have any pricing yet. But I heard rumors on Reddit Hockey that Game Center they're gonna offer a reduced price if you just want to follow one team. So
Okay.
I'm totally
Can the
fine
NFL
dropping $100 for just the Flyers.
Can the NFL do that, please?
Instead of
One team packages instead of
everybody
everything?
or
'Cause
nothing.
It's on this. You can at most you can watch 3 games a week because they're all at the same time.
Well, I do Red Zone. That's what I do.
Yeah.
You have Red Zone?
Yeah, a group of us get together when we play Red Zone. So,
But I mean, if you
Wait. How does that work? What's Red Zone? Is it like Game Center for NFL?
it's you watch the games, but it only shows important plays. So all the games because it works for the NFL because all the games are on one day of the week, right? So, the morning games, it'll just jump to games that are they're in the Red Zone. This play just happened. It's a fantasy football.
so it
kinda
channel surfs for you.
Yeah,
What?
it literally it's
Not
just
bad.
one screen and it shows what happened, important plays and
Really?
Oh, it's the
Wait,
greatest
you
thing.
all go in. So you have a login? Is it online?
No,
or-
we watch it together. So you can, I think, use it on more than one TV, but we just all go to a friend's place and we'll watch that.
That'd be awesome. So let me ask you a question. The Vikings are never on Red Zone then, obviously. Especially when they're playing the Packers.
Unless it's a pick six.
Their defense is on there a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're looking good. I just want to say they're undefeated right now. Well on their way to a totally undefeated season.
Would you say they're whipping the other team's butts?
They're whipping the other team's butts? Why?
Adrian Peterson.
Oh, you're a terrible person.
There we go.
You could say they're switching it up from last season. Oh, no.
Boy.
On the
If
nose
they go
there.
4-0, I'll pull out the Detroit Lions 2007 stat for you.
Hey, actually,
Because they went 4-0 in the preseason too, and guess how many games they won that year?
0, I remember. But it got him Matt Stafford, did it not? Who's okay? Since we're on the NFL, anyways, that's fine. We've lost everybody. It's us listening now. Who's going to be the top pick this year in the NFL? Top 5.
The draft?
Yeah.
Or in fantasy? Are you talking?
No.
I don't know college players at all.
Really? Okay, fine. Rookie of the year, go. Besides that dude in San Diego that his mom won't buy his jersey until he's earned it.
San Diego, or is it? Okay, rookie,
Melvin
offensive,
Gordon.
it's offensive and defensive. There's not
Fine, offense and defense.
Offensive player of the year will most likely be offensive rookie of the year. I'd probably go with the receiver from the Eagles. It's like Nelson Agholor or something like that.
Dan, you're the Eagles fan. You don't know.
They
I
drafted
watch
him
the
in
games. I don't get that into it.
He was their first round pick this year, so I think he's gonna.
Okay, defense, go.
Defense, you got to go with. That's a hard pick.
Jadeveon Clowney.
I think it's
Jadeveon Clowney.
He's not a rookie anymore.
What do you mean? He didn't even play a game.
know.
Damn, how does that work?
He played a couple games.
Well, you won't play one game.
You only get it's just it's not like the NHL. It's like
That's
a minimum game.
vicious.
I know it sucks.
So are the Houstons gonna be good?
Are
Or?
the Houstons? Yes, the Houstons.
J.J. Watt says, are they gonna be good?
J.J. Watt featuring other players. Will be a good team. Yes.
J.J. Watt's bandwagon buddies.
Yes, exactly.
Are they gonna be good?
They should be pretty good. Yeah.
Okay, Super Bowl pick, go.
Super Bowl pick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Here, give me conference finals here.
Like you mean like Super Bowl final? I'll give you Super Bowl final.
Sure, Super Bowl final.
It'll be Packers
without Jordy Nelson.
Doesn't matter. Aaron Rodgers is a machine.
Yeah, he is.
And Packers versus Colts.
Packers versus Colts.
I would say, yeah.
All right. If I'm not mistaken, Greg is calling in. Hello?
Yeah, are you guys a football podcast now? Is that what's happening?
We actually haven't talked
Maybe.
hockey yet, I don't think, apart from the NHLPA Rookie Showcase. That's it. We've been talking sports. You know how we do without you, Greg. How's it going?
I just woke up from a wicked nap, and I'm going to order some pizza.
What kind of pizza?
Pizza Hut.
What kind of pizza?
Pizza Hut.
No, the flavor. I don't care where you...
I was curious about where he's ordering from. I'm just saying.
Not the company, the
Are you
flavor.
getting the hot dog in the crust?
No, I was just trying to get a sponsorship, so I'm going to try to plug them as much as possible.
Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut sponsorship.
Okay, I'm going to be straight up. I don't like Pizza Hut that much, so I don't know if that sponsorship's going to work.
I do, but
It's expensive.
it's expensive.
It's
If it was cheaper, I'd eat it a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not. Gonna
Take notes, Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Okay, Greg, what flavor are you doing? Are you doing the hot dog pizza?
No, ew.
Actually, Dan and I had it. Not that bad.
We did.
I would have it again.
Made my mom the
Really?
dirtiest talking person in the whole entire world.
Yeah, it was gross. Well, it was funny. He was like, "Oh, you
was
like your
entertaining.
wiener in your crust?" Or wiener?
You need your crust, you need your buns.
Some of the things that were said that night.
We're unacceptable.
Yeah.
All right,
Can't repeat
Greg.
here.
What do you got for NHL news for us? Since we might as well start talking about the NHL now.
Not signings.
Not signings just yet.
Well, I know it's a little early to talk about it, but after somebody was signed today, they released next year's unrestricted free agent list.
Yeah, we just
Okay, fine. Thanks, Greg. I specifically said not signing, so let's just
He
jump
hasn't
on in.
said who it is, though.
Mark Giordano got signed to a great contract today. 6 years, $40.5 million, average 6.75 per. What are your thoughts on the contract?
Well, like, for a bottom pairing defenseman, it's a little expensive.
For a bottom pairing defenseman, yeah, okay. Yeah, their bottom pairing of Dougie Hamilton, Mark Giordano is going to be horrendous. I wouldn't take that if you paid me to pay them.
No, it's a great deal. He would have been a Norris candidate or winner net last year if he didn't get hurt. One of the funny things, though, is you look at Calgary's record with him in the lineup versus him not in the lineup, it's a little weird. They actually were I think they're a little bit higher, over 500 without him in the lineup than with him in the lineup.
Yeah, I saw that. That was but I think that's also because when he's on the ice, like he plays like 30 minutes a night
At least.
So like when you spread that out, like I mean, even in comparison to like beer league, when there's 2 lines as opposed to 3, you're a lot more in the game when you get to play more than when you aren't. So everyone else, they just spread the wealth a little, and they were all clicking on all cylinders, and it worked out.
They have to. They must be putting a lot of money in their decor right now, though.
There's not all that much, like...
Because Dennis Weidman's making $6 million. Giordano's making $6.5 million. Dougie Hamilton's making $6 million. That's only 3 guys.
18 mil.
So.
Yeah, but their forwards aren't getting paid that much
Not
because
yet.
next season...
Not yet, but I mean,
But
they
I
have
think
some young...
Isn't Weidman up right away then? I imagine he's probably got to be pretty
I
close
think
to being-
Weidman's up at the end of next year.
So that's more space.
Yeah.
And they're signing these guys young enough. Like they signed Bodie there, TJ Bodie. Brody. To like a reasonable. It's expensive for what he did, but they know he's going to be better, and he's going to be. It's like the Duncan Keith deal, right?
It'll be good.
Basically, like, we'll pay you this much because you'll be way better. in
Yeah,
2
Mark
years.
Giordano is now the 9th highest paid defenseman in the NHL.
And he's probably not even, like, I'd say he might even be better than top 9.
Well, I know 1, 2, 3. This is just cap hit off the top of my head. It's PK Subban at $9 million, and then Shea Weber at like 8 or like 7 or 8 something, and then we got Suter at 7 and change, and then it goes to and then Doughty's in there too. Doughty's number 4, I believe.
Yeah, and we all know how much you like him.
He's great. I would definitely pick Drew Doughty never if I was building a team.
Really?
I
Drew Doughty
do
or Patrick
not like
Kane?
Drew Doughty.
Why?
What?
Drew Doughty or
Oh, Patrick Kane every day of the week.
No, you go D.
No,
Absolutely.
false. If I'm going D
I
and
was
I'm
thinking more
okay,
for the
you know what?
underlying
No,
reasons
you know what?
why...
Since
There's an underlying reason why Cam doesn't like Drew Doughty, and Patrick Kane has found himself in similar waters.
allegedly,
Drew
Doughty-
Doughty is
When did Drew
less
Doughty?
is more
twice
alleged.
accused twice.
Never made papers.
Yeah, because he paid him off.
Because it never happened.
Maybe,
Just saying.
maybe I don't know. All alleged. Okay, well, since we're on the topic, if you're building a team,
Yeah.
goalie, D, forward, does cap it, doesn't matter. Who you taking? Stefan, you go first.
Out of anybody in the whole league.
Anybody in the league, doesn't matter. You could have anybody. Just rattle them off.
Ooh, Connor McDavid.
Okay, that's your forward. Who's your D?
My D. Oh,
Like you're building a team.
okay,
here.
each like one position each.
Yes.
I get. Oh, okay. I go Connor McDavid as my forward. My D man, I would go Carlson.
Eric Okay.
Carlson, and then goalie. Carey Price, obviously, you can't go wrong with that.
Okay, Greg.
Sure.
Who's your goalie, D, forward?
Now, am I being serious? Oh.
What?
My D is Morgan Riley.
Okay. We have the other Leafs fan laughing at you, but continue. Who's the forward?
No, okay, do I want this team to win, or...
You're building a team. Just pick it. I don't know.
You've already been fired as a hypothetical
Yeah, like I don't know.
GM.
I don't
You
know.
can be
What,
any kind of GM you want.
I don't know what kind of team builds not to win, but okay.
Well, like, I could build a team of my favorite players. Goalie. I'd probably pick Price as my goaltender.
Okay.
Seriously, if I was building a team, I'd probably pick Oliver Ekman-Larsson as my defenseman over Morgan Riley.
Okay. And who's your forward?
And forward,
Is there a horse in the room? Like what is that?
Where are you?
I'm thinking.
He's watching.
Well, stop thinking and just say it. This is a podcast. We gotta
You're
go.
putting me on the spot here. This isn't the easiest thing to just rattle off.
Okay, I'm naming your forward for you. It's Jamie Benn.
Steven Stamkos.
Who?
Steven Stamkos? Okay.
Okay, Dan, go.
Goalie, I'm going to go quick. Not Price.
Okay.
It's a toss-up, though. I mean, I think I'd take Connor McDavid for just the potential. And I think they both picked offensive defensemen. I'm going Jacob Trouba because you need a guy that's going to sit back and... Hey.
Okay, all right.
Let's,
Okay, no, hey. Okay, well, obviously, your teams suck. I just want you to say way too offensive. Stefan, Greg, yeah, it's a mess over there. Whatever you're doing, Dan, little closer to the mark. He's got my mindset. Forward, I'm hard pressed not to pick Giroux, so I will not pick him. I will pick Jonathan Toews because he needs forward and D. And because I already have an ample amount of leadership, let's add more leadership and snarl Shea Weber on D. For goalie, I don't like Carey Price because he's so good. But I'm taking Carey Price because he's that good. But my secondary choice would be Henrik Lundqvist. But if I'm building...
At 39 years old?
Yeah.
Hey, no,
So you're building a team. You already handcuffed yourself to the salary cap like you wouldn't believe. You're not thinking.
I said no salary cap.
What do you mean? You can't just build a team.
No salary cap.
There's MLB now.
Yep, I'll pay those. I'll pay the luxury fee. I don't care.
Clearly, Cam is not the 5-year plan, man.
Yeah, you're not looking towards. I want to be a consistent winner. I don't want to win once.
Exactly.
I have Taves, Weber, and Price.
How much are their contracts?
I don't care.
Look at the Chicago Blackhawks.
In 5
you
years,
literally
where's
built
that
the
gonna
Chicago
be?
Blackhawks. You win a cup. But now you're so screwed because one guy's going to rape somebody. Allegedly.
Oh my goodness!
Allegedly. And then you're going to have to pay him $10.5 million to not play for you.
You guys, I'm just talking skill. Money isn't a factor here.
You're a GM. Money's always a factor.
Well, that...
Money make the world go round.
Yeah, you guys are just being vicious, then.
Connor McDavid,
We all
I got
find
that
it a
cheap
coincidence.
All that Flyers.
Okay, well, Greg, what?
I said, does anyone else find it a coincidence that you love spending money and you're a huge Flyers fan?
I have no issue with spending money
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Cam Holmgren is now his name.
Yeah, no, that's when I signed out on Facebook for our, we have a group chat, I'm like, Holmgren, home, and then I put GREN in parentheses, out. Very true, Greg. All right, do you have any other NHL news for us, or what?
Well, I was going to tell you guys, like, the top unrestricted free agents for next year so we can get excited for next year.
That was a TSN article.
Okay, Greg, you go right ahead. Wait, Christian Ehrhoff signed a 1-year, $1.5 million deal with the Kings.
And Adam Cracknell.
What?
Adam Cracknell.
Dude, I remember him from the Peoria Rivermen.
Signed with the Canucks.
Ooh, mama.
Barn burner.
All right, who are these free agents? Name like the top 5.
I'll just go the top 5. Okay. How about I just list? It's not like a huge list.
Okay, go.
Okay. Steven Stamkos, Anze Kopitar, Dustin Byfuglien, David Backes, Eric Stahl, Brent Seaver, Kyle Okposo, Thomas Plekanec, Andrew Ladd, Cam Ward, Milan Lucic, Brian Campbell, Keith Yandel, Eric Johnson.
Could be an interesting summer next year.
All those guys.
Other notables would be Yammer Yager, Justin Abdelkader, Radim Verbata, Louis Erickson, James Reimer.
The key word there is notable names.
Don't you say it.
Yeah.
Don't you say it.
Don't you dare
He
say it.
did it. All right, Greg, do you think all those guys stay with their team, or do you think someone goes to a new team? What are your thoughts? Who's the most likely to go to a new team? I'm thinking Brent Seabrook right off the top of my head.
Kopitar.
Kopi, where do you
Trying to think how much room the Islanders have. I don't know if they can sign Okposo, especially if he has a good year. I don't know.
He's only getting paid like 2.8 this year, right?
Yeah, he's a cheap contract.
The guy I'm confident saying won't be with the same team next year is Dustin Byfuglien.
You
Eric
don't?
Stahl.
I don't think so.
Okay, where do you think Stahl's going to go, Greg? And then we'll go to Dan.
Edmonton.
That'd be good.
They already have centers. Like, I get the leadership thing. So do you think they're going to part with Eberle?
No, part with Nugent Hopkins. You can
Is
get
he
more
going to
for
get
him.
traded? Are we going with
And
trade?
he's
Or
a
like
centerman, and if you're going to get a more veteran guy anyways, Nugent Hopkins hasn't really been, like, he's been good. He just hasn't been great. He hasn't been a first overall good.
Okay, so are you saying for Stahl that he will get traded then for Nuge? You think Edmonton would do that?
I mean, I can see them signing Nuge and then looking and maybe trading Nugent Hopkins because it's a bigger contract as well. Like, I think he's set to make something in the 6 range. I could be wrong with that.
Wait, who are you talking about?
Nugent Hopkins.
Nuge is already on a contract. They signed him last year, after his first year.
$6 million or something like that?
Yeah, $6 million for, I think, 6 years. Him and Hall are on the exact same contract, and I think Eberle's contract ends up...
Last year or this year? I think last year was his last year entry level.
Okay, so but how is Nuge factoring into this then?
you're going to need to move contract or salary, and you're going to need to move a center if you're bringing in Eric Stahl.
Oh, and you're trading Nuge to who?
I don't know, somewhere to get a defenseman.
I don't know.
I don't think Eric Stahl wants to go to a shitty team. I just don't see him like if he might as well just stay in Carolina. If that's the case, then why would he go anywhere else, right?
It's pretty hard to get lower than Carolina, and I think he'd be doing it by going to Edmonton.
No, I wouldn't say they're lower. But I'm saying, like,
right now,
he's not getting any closer to winning a cup with Edmonton.
Yeah, no.
Like, Edmonton will win. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know if they're going to win in Eric Stahl's time. Like, I think he's got maybe 3 good years left in him. And I think he wants to win when he's a contributing factor, not when he's like a third or fourth line guy. Yeah. Sure, everybody contributes. I'm not saying that, but he wants to be like a factor. He doesn't just want to be a piece of the puzzle.
Fine, we know he'll end up in Pittsburgh like everybody else does.
He's like super adamant on playing with his brothers though. So like, it's true. He's either gonna re-sign in Carolina or go like New York and play with Mark. Like he specifically said, "Go get Jordan. I want him on my team."
I mean,
and they signed the shitty brother that sucks.
He does have a.
You don't like Jordan?
No, the shitty like youngest
the really,
brother.
Really one.
The younger one.
Jared's cool.
Jared,
yeah.
Jared.
Yeah. They
I
signed
mean,
him.
you have to keep in mind he has a cup, so does he really want another one that badly, or? I mean, of course he does, but is that his number one priority, or would he rather be happy?
Or maybe he does stick out with Carolina, or maybe he goes to another team, hypothetically wins. I could see him going back to Carolina and front office or like management or something eventually. That's a dream for every player, though.
Yeah.
All right, and Dan, you had mentioned Byfuglien.
Oh, there's more news.
I think he's outpricing himself for Winnipeg at least. Someone will pay him $7 or $8 million. You can add him to the top 5 highest paid defenseman list probably.
Would you?
But I don't see Winnipeg doing it for that length of time for 7-8 years, whatever he wants. I don't see it.
I think this Giordano contract did some damage to Byfuglien's furthering contract because for what Gio, sure, he's not as offensively gifted as Buff is, but Gio is a lot more consistent than Buff is in terms of the numbers and what his production on the ice. Buff is some kind of animal, though, that Gio isn't. So do you think by Gio signing that 6 years, 6.5, this is the type of deal I'm assuming Buff wants, just more money, maybe a little less term? Obviously you want term, but do you think Buff, where would be a potential landing spot then? Is it a trade? Do you think Chevy's going to be able to pull off a trade on an expiring contract for Buff to get anything more than potentially a B prospect? Because I don't think someone's going to sell the farm for an expiring contract unless they fully intend on signing
If a team like Pittsburgh or someone really wants a cup and they can add Buff for cheap, someone might pick him. I mean, the Jets might not get a whole lot for him, but I think he's outpricing him, especially when you consider Jacob Trouba is going to get paid at the end of this year.
Shifley,
Ladd,
probably
Lowry,
most likely.
Andrew Ladd wants money.
Goalie Hutch.
Michael Hutch. I think Byfuglien, if they could get Buff for $8 million a year for 2 or 3 years, I think they'd do it. But if for 5, 6, 7 years, I think it's.
You think you'll get $8 million?
That's what the starting price was apparently.
But I think, like you said, Cam,
they can go up or down.
I think that just put a huge dagger in it, though. I mean, Giordano's all around. You look at it hey, Buff does his thing, but all around you look at, okay, can you play defense? Can you contribute everything else? Giordano is what you want a D-man to be in the end.
Oh, I agree.
I would say he gets no more than absolute max is 7. I'm saying he's probably at that 6.5. Because
I think they're very comparable, not in their style of play, but in how valuable they are to their team. Yeah. I think they're very comparable, and I don't think Byfuglien's worth $8 million. Well, I mean, it's hard to say because some of the guys that are making that aren't worth it, in my opinion.
Well, I remember when the rumors of Byfuglien, how they allegedly were talking, and people were not with Buff, with Gio, and they were starting point's $8 million, and people were I'd pay that, and then when I saw 6.75, I was wow, so clearly Gio also understands you have to take a pay cut to be able to build a team. Different sport, but Peyton Manning readjusted his contract and got $4 million less. Today they signed
Evan Mathis, a guard from used to be with
the Eagles.
Yeah,
and that was for $4 million. And Peyton Manning, he's a smart man, and I think Gio is like that as well.
We also don't know whether Byfuglien is. We don't know how low he's willing to drop. I mean, obviously $8 million is they're going to ask high.
Who's his agent? Do you know?
I don't know who his agent is.
I don't know if he's a greedy guy or if you look at maybe his comparable
I mean, we don't know what's going on behind. Bufflin likes playing here allegedly, but we don't know how much of a cut he'd be willing to take to stay here if he wants the money. So I mean, there's pieces up in the air that not much is known about. I just with all the defensemen that we have on the team, and him and the asking price being that high, and I mean his age too. He's 30 years old. Mm-hmm. He's super valuable, but
if he doesn't sign with the Jets, he goes to Florida next year in the offseason.
Florida.
Yeah, this year at the end of it's the end of Brian Campbell's contract,
and he's making a lot.
He's making $7.1 million. So like, if that comes off the books, that's okay. We have room to put it towards another deal.
But they have to re-sign their guys too. So
yeah, I still think they're pretty like. I mean, it's $7 million that's available, and
I think
it won't change the cap.
It really,
it's gonna be the same.
It's
just
fairly comparable. Yeah. So,
Greg, thoughts?
I think people know where I stand on this. I don't like overpaying for players, especially when they're hitting their tipping point.
All right.
Being too old. So
obviously, this list is going to get smaller and smaller as the season goes on. So we'll keep you updated. Once the season starts, you're not allowed to talk to free agents or restricted free agents until restricted free agents on your team until January 3rd, I believe, January 3rd or 2nd. So
for free agents, they just need to be signed by like early December, and if they're not, then they technically aren't allowed to be signed or be contacted until the following year.
And as Stefan said, there's a monster, there's a ton of RFAs. Like, most notable one off the top of my head would be McKinnon.
Yeah.
And then you got the Jerome Monahan and all those
I have
guys.
the list right here.
Yeah, it's in the same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, rattle off a few of them, the notable ones.
Okay, Nathan McKinnon, Johnny Hockey, Seth Jones, Braden Shen, Danny DeKaiser, Frederick Anderson, Thomas Hurdle, Sean Monahan, Oli Mata, Morgan Riley, Mark Scheifele, Nazem Kadri, Justin Schultz, Eric Goodbranson.
Oh,
Jacob Trouba?
Actually, he's probably a notable. I'm assuming they put the notable guys going to get signed.
He's notable. He was in the notable list.
Trouba wasn't notable? Yeah, you got to be.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know. I don't think... Sure, I'd love to throw an offer sheet at Trouba, but I think Winnipeg's, not that they command respect, but they've gained respect among GMs where it's they're not doing any shiesty. They're not pulling any Philadelphia, Edmonton Oilers stuff. Old Edmonton Oilers. You know what I mean? Or old Philly.
But if
Edmonton's Dustin Penner, Thomas Vanek.
Yeah. If teams get word that the Jets might be trying to pay Trouba low, though, they might jump all over that.
I think he probably gets the same contract Dougie Hamilton gets.
I'd say he gets between 6 and 7 a year.
What did Dougie get? 5.5?
5.75. 6 years.
I think that's a perfect contract for him.
I agree. I think something tells me, but from what I've heard, that he'll get a little higher, maybe 6.5. But
you were saying there was other NHL needs.
There was. Daniel Alfredson is now signed or he's coming back to Ottawa as a consultative role or something like that. So after that turmoil, it was a big falling out there.
I was upset.
Yeah.
I'm not even a Sens fan. I was like, how could you? Yeah. Also, though, because I kind of dislike the Wings, a lot. Yeah. So...
But yeah, he's coming back now, and he's going to work with the organization again. So that's good.
Right on.
Good that they fixed those bridges, because they were definitely burned.
Yeah, well, that's great, though. I'm glad that he's back. And speaking of the Sens, I mentioned it before. There's a quick snippet video on TSN. Erik Karlsson doesn't train in the offseason. When training camp, once he moves back to Ottawa, because he goes back to Sweden, that's when he starts training. And as we mentioned, does he need to train? I don't know. Does he really need to add muscle to his frame? I think it would hinder his ability by being so... his asset is his speed and skating ability.
He's an offensive defenseman. He's not a defensive defenseman at all.
Yeah.
He's very terrible defensively, so...
Yeah, and you, look at some of the guys, who are... they're not... Hockey players, sure, they're in incredible shape, but not all of them have, six-pack abs, okay, I'm going to use, not Kessel, the classic example. Mm-hmm. I'm going to use Drew Doughty. Have you seen Doughty without a shirt? Look, he's not, shredded. He's not incredibly out of shape, but a little pudgy. Little pudgy. It looks like he enjoys a can of Coca-Cola from here to here and there.
Like Chara on the bench that one time.
Or Chara on the bench, yeah. Yeah, a normal 591 milliliter bottle that looked like a little mini and just sucked it off real quick. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I wonder if,
blood sugar is probably low.
True. I wonder if players do that, just put in the Gatorade bottle or, what do they drink on the bench?
I imagine mainly Gatorade.
There's Gatorade in the Gatorade bottle.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know obviously this
But
is super...
you can't see the room.
Yeah.
What goes
What's
on
in
the
the
room
room,
is
yeah,
No,
that's-
like
that's
super
a different
super unrealistic. But you think in the room, maybe say if it's the last game before holidays or something.
Oh, they're boozing.
You think so?
Oh,
eh?
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
You think so? Like,
There's guys that are like alcoholics in the NHL. Like, it's a known fact. There's
Yeah.
like majority of them are alcoholics. I wouldn't be surprised if they're like in their stalls, like, maybe cracking a beer, but they have it hidden. They're not just like having a beer out in the open.
after the game, like once
Oh.
the media leaves, for sure.
Before the game, I don't know. I mean,
Loosen
there's
up.
guys that it's an addiction, right?
True. I guess so. I never thought about that. I remember I went for a tour of the man. I've been for the Jets tour, like in the arena. I don't think they have it anymore. I didn't look, but I remember when I went for the Moose for like a job career shadowing day. I wanted to be like a journalist at one point, and then I realized I suck at writing, so I'm not doing that. But I got to go with one of the writers and he covered the Moose, and now he covers the Jets. And
who is it?
Ken Wiebe.
Okay.
Yeah, I like
what's his name?
Lawless.
I
like Lawless.
Gary Lawless is disgusting.
We gotta
you know
see
what? Disgusting.
We can't go down this path. We can't go. We don't have time for this.
He's a kid. That's Ken Hitchcock. And Gary Lawless.
He's extremely guilty of making stories out of thin air, and that's what I don't like about him. He knows his stuff.
Fine,
but,
I want to say
he
this.
gets the most ridiculous trades. They were talking about trading with Boston, like, they're gonna get all these guys for him. I was like, no, that is not a trade that anyone would make. I hate Gary Lawless.
Some of the articles he writes, I'm just like, the one that always comes back to me is like 2 months into the season, he wrote an article shitting on Blake Wheeler. He's like, he's leading the team in points, but he's not up with Sidney Crosby, so he's not doing good enough. I'm like,
it's Sidney Crosby, you animal!
Don't even compare
no, it's
those
Sidney
two players.
Crosby, except maybe Connor McDavid.
He just and that's it. He just pulls stuff out of thin air. I'm like, dude.
He's evoking controversy. He's trying to evoke a reaction to get controversy to create it, to like create his brand even higher. That's what they do.
I hate him. He's only there because he wrote for we have nobody else.
You know what?
I like Ken Wiebe. Ken Wiebe was a good writer.
He's a great writer. Here is a question for people listening, if anyone is listening. Do you guys know of the name Gary Lawless? Apart from just us now, like, is Lawless synonymous to Winnipeg as Brooksy is to New York? I want to know, like, because I don't know of any other ones off the top of my head. Yeah. Yeah, we forget Greg's. Greg, you okay?
Yeah, I was laughing at your comment.
Okay. Oh, well, yeah, if you know the answer, by all means, anyone send us messages. I didn't check the email today, so I'm actually going to do that right now. But I'll finish my story here. I went on a tour of the Manitoba Moose Room, and what blew me out of the water, they had slushy machine. Oh. They had orange and blue, and I loved it. It was amazing.
You had one?
No, I didn't. But I made the mistake. I forgot what kind of toque I was wearing that day, and I was wearing my Flames toque. So when I met Mike Keane and Corey Schneider gave me some razz about it. He's like, wrong toque. He's like, get him a toque. And I got a toque.
Oh, nice.
You
just got to wear the wrong thing.
Yeah, wear the wrong
Get him a shirt, yeah.
Get him garbage. And I'm like, hey, you guys, you want to pay my student loan too? Yeah, it'd be
Should have
great.
worn like a Flyers jersey. They'd be like, no. You need this.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Moose jersey.
Dude, yeah. Oh, speaking of the Moose, now that we're on it, they announced the day of their home opener, October 15th. They don't know who they're playing yet, but it'll be October 15th.
Shouldn't that schedule come out pretty soon?
I think AHL's always later.
I guess they have to.
It's got to go around the NHL schedule. Yeah, it's actually a lot harder to schedule for the AHL than it is the NHL.
I can see it.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, you got those 68 to 72 games or whatever.
What are we gonna do? We're not playing the same
5 less games, guys.
But they don't get priority over anything else. Like the NHL gets priority. Like I guarantee you, the first thing booked every year is Winnipeg Jets games at the MTS Center.
Of course.
And Luke Bryan concerts.
Wow,
oh my goodness gracious!
There's like
it's
7 of them.
There's like 7 days like per year put aside just for him.
Sorry, what was that, Greg?
They said it's Beyonce concerts, and I realized they're too big for the MTS Center.
They play the stadium.
They are.
Yeah.
And you know that the Bombers aren't playing too late in the season, so there's plenty of openings there.
Hey,
Plenty of Grey Cup tickets left too. Apparently.
since we're not talking about hockey right now, the Blue Jays tickets are going to go on sale for playoffs, but they're not even in playoffs yet.
They're almost not like I don't want to say guaranteed yet, but they're doing really well. They're almost guaranteed a wild card spot. So
and they're
currently losing.
Are they losing
to the Texas Rangers?
What's the score, Greg?
It is 5-4 in the bottom of the 7th.
That's fine. They're going to win that one.
They're going to have to lose the game eventually.
How about the Yankees?
I don't know. I just have it on in my hotel room right now.
Are you on 2 beds?
What?
when one bed gets hot, do you go to the other bed to cool it down?
I'm at the bed near the air conditioner right now, so I'm not hot at all. It's nice.
It's getting a little chilly now.
Are you gonna get a place to live ever, Greg? Or
I'm just gonna stick it out in a hotel for the rest of my life.
Not a terrible idea, but you might want to like.
They might put you on like their like VIP club, and then you might like not have to pay ever for a hotel room.
This guy,
That's
you know,
the dream.
hotels-
You know what the first thing that popped in my head was? I'm not this. This is Cameron talking. I almost said, Greg, you could be to hotels what Jared is to Subway.
oh, you're a terrible person.
I'm not saying like what Jared did.
Oh,
I'm
you
just
are.
saying like the brand.
You're saying it.
You're not done.
What do you? Yeah. There's some reading between the lines in that statement.
No,
Especially in his hotel. It's a very bad place to be saying that joke.
Hey,
What, Cam?
what?
Cam,
Greg?
a better thing you could have said would have been like, you could be to the hotels like the Trivago guy is to Trivago, because everyone fucking knows who the Trivago guy is.
Who's the Trivago guy?
The guy that looks like the guy from Dawson's Creek.
No, he has a joke. He knows who he
Never mind. Sorry.
you didn't see his face.
No.
That's like, I'll never forget one of the first times Dad and I are hanging out. We're ordering pizza, and his mom's like, "Oh, you guys gonna order pizza?" We're like, "Yeah." And then Dan's like, "Mom, I forgot the number to 222." And his mom's like, "Oh, it's 22." Dan, you're such an ass. And what?
I believe the correct quote was, "Oh, fuck you."
Yeah. Here in Winnipeg, we have Pizza Hotline, a company, and their phone number is 7 2s. That's it. It's 222-2222. Great pizza at a great price.
And that is true.
Yeah.
It's good
It
pizza.
is delicious.
It's a very good price.
It's extremely
We're just plugging all the pizza places right now.
I'm
you
trying to
started-
get sponsors like
we
you.
need sponsors. Hey, we need that sponsor money. Yeah, you did.
We're gonna get t-shirts with the
As long as-
sponsors.
As long as we don't have to sponsor Trivago, I'm okay with it, because I don't...
You don't want to travel for free?
Get cheap hotel
What?
rooms.
You don't want to get paid to do this podcast? What?
I would love to get paid.
That'd be sweet.
Friggin' Justin Bieber can sponsor us. I don't care.
Okay, let's move on now. Let's do a division breakdown.
All right, Greg.
Break it
Lay it
down.
on us.
No, you guys go first. You got to save the best for last.
He hasn't done
Well,
his research.
Greg didn't do his research. Okay, well, let Greg, we'll go left to right then.
We're
Dan,
going to
you
save
go.
the home team for last. Thank you very much.
Go. Okay, Greg, you started off.
No, I don't remember which team I was supposed to do.
Ah!
God.
Dallas, you monster.
Was I supposed to do Dallas?
Yes.
Yes.
You specifically called them first.
You
Out of
wanted to
anybody.
do it very badly.
We should have
you
done
guys-
it live off the floor. That's what we should have done last week. You were right, Stefan. We're doing it live. We're doing it live.
Okay, we're doing it live.
Okay, here. You know what?
Okay,
There-
someone
yeah,
start.
where's that?
No.
I'm
I'll
gonna
start.
tweet that.
I'll start
I'm
with
gonna
St.
tweet it.
Louis. I'll do St. Louis first. Okay? Is that okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. St. Louis Blues. In. Kyle Brodziak. Troy Brouwer. Out. Barrett Jackman. TJ Oshie. Ole Jokinen. Shucks. Marcel Gotch and Adam Cracknell, who obviously signed with Vancouver apparently. They were 51, 24, and 7 last year for 109 points. First in the Central. They lost again in the first round of the playoffs to the Minnesota Wild in 6 games. In terms of personnel changes, nothing major. I know there were some rumblings that Ken Hitchcock might get canned, but he's sticking around for now. Top 3 prospects, Petteri Lindbom, 6th round pick in 2012. He's 6'3", 198 pounds. He's just a big defenseman who...
He's a tall glass.
Sounds
Tall-
like he might-
What's that saying? God damn it! Sorry,
What?
guys.
He's
No,
a tall
sorry,
glass?
sorry, Dan. Sorry,
What?
go. I messed that up so bad.
He played 23 games with the Blues last year. He had 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points. So it sounds like he could be in the lineup this year for them, officially. In the AHL, he had 53 games played, 6 goals, 12 assists for 18 points. So that'll help them out on the back end. Number 2 is Robby Fabbri. He was their first overall pick last year. In the OHL last year, in 30 games played, he had 25 goals, 26 assists for 51 points. Obviously, he had suffered a high ankle sprain in the World Juniors for Canada, and that pretty much ended his season. But there was high hopes for him being on the Blues last year. So
Is this his Robby Fabbri?
yeah, so it looks like he could be there this year too as well.
I just want to say I will tweet a picture of Robby Fabbri from our account. he gets eyebrow work done for sure. His eyebrows on fleek. I don't even know what fleek means, but they are nice.
I take your word for it. Number 3, we got Ty Ratty. He was the 32nd overall pick in 2011. Actually played 11 games with the Blues last year, had 2 assists. He played 52 games in the AHL, 21 goals, 21 assists for 42 points. Yes, my math. That's
Hey, that's all right. So he's still somewhat producing at the AHL level.
Yeah, and I mean he was drafted 4 years ago, so I mean he could be on the team this year too.
And
so.
because the thing that was bogging him down was the depth at wing.
It's
and
retarded there.
Well, and they've definitely
that's
cleared out
something,
some space this year. I mean, they got rid of Jokinen, Oshie, and Gotch. That's 3 spots right there.
I expect this is Raddy's year to push contend for a spot along with Fabbri.
For sure. Like he's a really good player.
Okay, well we'll leave the Jets for last then. Or do you have what was the record?
51, 24, and 7, 109 points.
Right.
First in the Central.
Mama. All right, well I'll go with my guys then. I had Colorado Avalanche first. Player changes out off the top of my head. Ryan O'Reilly, Jamie McGinn. I'm not sure if anyone walked.
Danny Briere retired.
Danny Briere retired, right. I should know that. I made such a big deal out of it.
You did.
I'm still like, I'm hurt. In Carl Soderberg, Mikhail Grigorenko, Nikita Zadorov, Francois Beauchemin, and Blake Como. Quiet signing by Como. Did not know that. Good depth signing.
Not bad. I forgot
Personnel
about Beauchemin too.
personnel changes. Nothing off the top of my head. Prospects. Chris Bygras, a defenseman, 6'2", 195. He played for the Owen Sound Attack in the OHL. How he got acquired was 2013 draft. They drafted him second round, 32nd overall. Represented Team Canada World Juniors last year. Didn't do too bad. Second prospect, Connor Bleakley. Greg and I actually spoke about Connor Bleakley at one of the very first podcasts Greg and I did alone without Dan. Greg, do you remember Connor Bleakley's name for any reason?
Yeah,
And what would that be?
because he follows the fucking crazy theory that we have about the Colorado Avalanche.
Boom.
The
He
nines?
wears number 9.
Oh God,
Yep.
it's back.
2014 acquired in the first round, 23rd overall. He played for the Red Deer Rebels in the WHL. It's a shame he, I think he's an overager now, so he can't play anymore. If he was, he would definitely be the top-line center for Red Deer going into their hosting the Memorial Cup this year.
Really? How did they get host?
They have a pretty good prospect pool.
Do they? Okay.
So it'll be interesting. And you know what? Red Deer's not that far. I wouldn't mind doing a road trip. That'd be sweet. Yeah. And third one, there was a few options, but I just went with their first-round draft pick this year. Mikko Rantanen, right wing, 6'4", 210 pounds. Acquired in the first round of this year's draft, 10th overall. He played for TPS Turku in the Simliga. All I know is that he's a big guy with slick hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, right. Their record, sorry. Colorado's record last year, 39, 31, and 12 for 90 points. They were 7th in the division, 11th in the West, and 21st in the league.
What does that say about the division that they were 90 points and they were the last place team?
But they're 21st though, right?
In the league.
In the
Yeah,
league.
so I mean,
it's not really that.
so points I guess.
Was that just a really good year, or is the NHL just exploding? Like I don't remember. Like I don't have that good of a memory.
There were a lot of
points.
teams that intentionally tanked this year, though, so that boosted point totals for a lot of teams.
Oh,
And
that's a great point.
Teams would like go to they go to overtime. They have no issue playing in overtime, right? Everyone gets a point
because
in
that
overtime.
point loss,
Yeah.
right? Okay, well that makes sense.
But I mean, 90 points used to get you in the playoffs comfortably, and now that's bottom of your division.
Yeah.
At least Central.
Well, Central. I mean,
Second
there's
team
not
I
really a
got,
bad team in that division.
pretty good team, I guess.
They've won-
Chicago Blackhawks.
They've won a few things, haven't they?
Yes. 2010 doesn't count. Player changes out. Brandon Saad, Patrick Sharp, Johnny Oduya, Antti Ranta, Brad Richards, Antoine Vermette. I think they took the biggest hit of any team for losing talent this offseason. And I guess I'll put an asterisk potentially out, allegedly, Patrick Kane. So that's a big one.
That's gonna.
In Trevor Daley, Ryan Garbutt, Artemin Nisimov, they re-signed him as well. Marco Dano, Jeremy Moore, and they reacquired for like the third time, I think. Because they drafted him,
Traded him for Buff.
Wasn't he
traded him for Buff.
Traded him with he traded for they didn't draft him. It was from Atlanta.
They got him
They
for Buff.
yeah.
Oh, and then they got rid of him. Second time.
Yeah.
Corey Trop and Viktor Tikhonov.
And you say they've lost talent. I don't know. I think they've added quite a bit back. Though.
Oh
It's not
yeah,
like
no,
they've
that as
definitely-
well. But
yeah.
like, if any team like sure, they acquired most of it back per se,
Yeah.
but like, you name those
lost some
guys, those
pieces.
are notable guys in
Yeah.
the NHL. Like
They lost
most
some
of those
pieces.
guys. Yeah. Personnel changes, none off the top of my head. Prospects, Nick Schmaltz, center, 6 feet, 170. They drafted him last year, first round, 20th overall. He plays for UND in the NCAA. For the Fighting Sioux, I don't care what you're calling them. They're the Fighting Sioux. That's garbage. Also, not garbage, what I found out. I looked farther into it. They had to have papers signed. I believe the date was by sometime in 2013. They had to have both official groups of what's the word I'm looking for? Like tribes, I guess, because I don't know if that's okay to say or not. Whatever. 2 tribes. Both of them had to sign off on it for Fighting Sioux to be okay, and the NCAA would okay. They only got signing by 1. So that's the reason they're changing. I thought it was fully just NCAA being like, no,
okay.
that's offensive. They gave them a shot. They couldn't do it.
Oh, okay.
So as of right now, they're sticking to just UND, assuming most people will know it'll be Sioux, but UND you could stick with. I'm trying to think of another team that's just their team name. Because I know Miami's pretty synonymous, but it's the Hurricanes. Greg, sorry, you have a name?
No, they've narrowed the list down to 7 for UND now.
Oh, really? Do you have the names?
Yeah, I have them right here.
Perfect. Right on. Let me have it.
And I'll save the best one for last, just for you, Cam.
Oh, I think I know what the best one is, actually. But go ahead. I'll guess it, and I think I'm right.
Fighting Hawks, Green Hawks, Nodaks, North Dakota, North Stars, Sun Dogs, or...
Rough Riders.
Yep.
Yeah. I would totally be okay with the North Dakota Rough Riders. Then I cheer for 2 Rough Rider teams. That's okay.
One of them has to win a game.
Well, one of them definitely wins games. The other one, I don't know.
Have they won a game yet?
They have not.
No.
They lost
I'm
again
talking
the
about
weekend.
North Dakota
I know.
Rough Riders.
I'm talking about
this is
Saskatchewan.
Oh, yeah, no. They'll win a
Are
game.
they 0-8?
Yes.
They are.
0-8.
Don't worry, Labor Day's coming up.
0-8. Can't wait.
Labor
Feel
Day.
great.
Labor Day's coming
Poetic
up. Don't
justice.
Now,
Bart
the
Scott.
Banjo Bowl coming up. They're gonna.
worry. You know what? So I was listening today. This is totally off topic, but they're having a hard time selling tickets for the Grey Cup. And this is like the worst year because Saskatchewan is doing the shits. So no one from Saskatchewan is going to come.
Yeah.
And the Bombers are doing the shits.
And those are got to be the top
And those
dogs
are
in
the
merch
2 top.
sales.
And they were banking on at least Saskatchewan, hopefully maybe being there.
Yeah.
But
so
then
people would
Darien
buy
Durant
tickets,
game
right?
1
So
went
that's-
down.
Okay,
I'm like a non.
I'm ready with the Dallas Stars.
Oh, no, wait. I'm not done. Sorry. Second prospect, Vili Polka, defenseman, 5'11", 200. They acquired him in the Leddy trade, and New York Islanders drafted him 2012, second round, 34th overall. He played in the for the Rockford Ice Hogs in the AHL last year. He was a part of the all-rookie team. He is a big get. In this trade, I would not be surprised if he was on the team this year. And third guy, Mark McNeil, center, 6'2", 210. Acquired 2011, 18th overall. Rockford Ice Hogs. Bit of a long shot. There's a few guys that they're waiting on, but Philip Deneau, Mark McNeil, but it seems as though they're taking their time, but also because their depth is just so good that they have the luxury of waiting and not rushing guys, i.e. the Jets as well have that, and we'll find out. Their record last year was 48, 28, and 6, 102 points, third in the Central, fourth in the league, fourth in the West, seventh in the league, which is crazy. Again, third in the division, fourth in the West. So that's correct. Greg, you go ahead with Dallas.
Okie dokie.
He's not ready.
You're not ready?
Dallas Stars.
No, Stefan can go if you want.
No, I'm good. I'm ready.
Okay, let us have it.
Hit it.
If you miss anybody, oh boy, Greg.
It's on.
I missed anybody. So in for Dallas, Antti Niemi, Patrick Eves, Jamie Alexiak, Johnny Uduya, and Patrick Sharp of the Patrick Sharp trade.
Whoa. What do you mean? Okay, what do you mean Jamie Oleksiak is in? They drafted him.
Patrick Eves was already there.
Yeah,
too.
you liar again.
doing?
You're a liar.
Jeez.
We're tired of the water in Kenora infiltrating your brain.
These are re-signings. Jeez. God.
Well, we're talking about new players. We
It's
care
in.
about
It's
the win.
in. It's in.
In,
It's
not
in.
not in again.
Not coming back for another tour.
Tell us who left then, Greg.
Again.
Trevor Daley out. Ryan Garbutt out. As well as Jonas Enroth. He's also out. They acquired him from Buffalo last year. They're apparently going to have the best tandem of goaltenders in the league. I disagree heavily.
Most overpaid.
Who is a better tandem?
I would say Anaheim.
Who's the? I can't even think of this.
Khudobin and Anderson. I wouldn't say that.
I'm going to go on a limb and say Carey Price by himself is better than both of those guys combined.
Oh, we're talking tandems.
I don't care. Carey Price is a tandem.
You can't ride a tandem bike with one person.
Carey
It just
Price
doesn't
can.
work.
He can.
If Dustin Jankowski.
Okay, go, Greg.
Their top 3 prospects would be Brett Ritchie. He's 6'4", 215, drafted second round, 44th overall. We all know that how much Don Cherry loves this guy. He played for the Sarnias. He played a couple games last year for the Dallas Stars, and I think he's going to maybe be decent this year. Number 2 would be Julius Honka. He's a defenseman. Drafted first round, 14th overall. He's 5'11" and weighs 175. Played for the Swift Current Broncos and then played for the Texas Stars last year. Had 31 points in 68 games. Then their third prospect, and I consider him prospect because I think he's going to be really good, but we'll see. Jack Campbell, he was first round, 11th overall in the 2010 NHL entry draft. He's 6'3", 184. He spent time with Windsor, Sault Ste. Marie, then Dallas. Played one game for Dallas, and has played for the Texas Stars, and a couple games for the Idaho Steelheads.
Hey, Greg, answer the beep. The phone's dying on you.
Oh, okay. I'll end and accept.
So we're good now?
Ooh, yeah, we're good. Audio quality just changed, but we're good.
Apparently my phone battery lasts 43 minutes. That's upsetting.
And then their record last year was 41, 31, and 10 for 92 points. That's good for 6th in the Central, 10th in the conference, and 20th in the league.
Jeez. All right, Stefan, let us have it.
Do you consider Jack Campbell better than their first-round pick this year? Just out of curiosity. They picked another Russian guy in the first, Denis Gurinov or something like that. I was just curious.
You know what? Jack Campbell's going to be better.
Okay. I was just a question, that was all.
The only reason why is on Elite Prospects they have him rated as probability of success a D.
Who, Denis Gurinov?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Greg.
You're welcome.
You didn't screw up. We appreciate it.
No.
No, you screwed up once.
You did.
You did screw up.
Greg, you're on thin ice here.
Yeah.
I just want you to know.
Do you guys mind if I jet and let you guys have the rest of the podcast?
Oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. Before you go, give us your rankings, and then we'll talk about our rankings after when you're done. Like, we'll do Stefan's team.
Is he thinking he's doing the Jets?
No, he's leaving.
He's gonna Jets, not
He's
do the
gonna
Jets.
Jet. He's got
I heard
to.
it that way.
I heard it. I was like,
He's
yeah.
got to eat his
Son of a
Pizza
bitch, I
Hut,
did
his
it.
delicious Pizza Hut pizza.
Are they at the door, Greg?
I haven't ordered it yet, so I'm gonna
Oh,
order it.
it's getting late, Greg.
Oh, you can't eat
I
dinner.
have a wicked 3-hour nap, so I'm gonna be fine.
Okay, go. Give us your rankings from bottom to top.
Okay, we're gonna go Chicago, Nashville.
At the bottom?
At the bottom?
Oh. I was going top to bottom. Sorry. Bottom, we're gonna go St. Louis, Colorado, Dallas, Winnipeg, Minnesota, Nashville, Chicago.
Okay.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for swinging by, Greg. Pleasure.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Yeah, have a good one. See you later.
Have a good week, guys. Bye.
Peace. I actually don't mind his standings.
All right, Stefan, let us have it.
Okay. So I got Minnesota. They were 4th in the Central last year. They went 46, 28, and 8 for 100 points. Not much in terms of coming in. The biggest thing they did in the offseason was re-signing Devin Dubnyk to a big contract. They also signed Mike Riley, the defenseman. He was drafted by the Columbus, but opted not to sign with them after his career with the University of Minnesota.
Gongos.
So he signed there. He's a D-man. He's pretty solid.
He is actually going to be at the NHLPA showcase. And
Okay.
when I remember when he signed with Minnesota, Ryan Johansson, it just shows like the totally different. Obviously, this happened back in the day, maybe with a phone call. Like, dude, why would you leave? Like, we had a good thing.
Yeah.
Ryan Johansson tweeted something like, "We didn't want you anyways," with like a peace sign emoticon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, jeez.
There was one, they went on his Twitter page, or on his Wikipedia page, and I think a Columbus fan changed it, and they put, like, he's a traitor. He's
a no-good traitor that no one ever wanted.
No good scum.
Hilarious. I remember I saw it, I was like, that's funny. I'll read it out here. Mike Riley is an American ice hockey traitor. Literally, someone changed it.
And they haven't changed it back.
They did change it. I took a picture of it, though. It was pretty funny. You
It actually says traitor.
That was pretty funny.
People in Columbus care about their team.
They are the fifth line, Dan.
That's true.
That's our dream. We're going there.
You know
I
what I
want to
heard
hear
today?
the horn. Go.
Winnipeg is the 55-yard line of Canada for CFL.
What?
That's the slogan for the Grey Cup.
That's because
We're
we're the meridian.
We're the
of
middle,
Canada, yeah.
so we're the 55-yard line of Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thanks for talking about slogans. Flyers announced their new hashtag for this upcoming year. It's real
We'll try.
good. We'll try. That's better. This is hashtag play boldly. What?
Well, they're gonna have to.
I guess so, because they have no good defensemen.
I suggested last year grabbing asses. I thought that's. I'll never forget that day. That day
It was hilarious.
I had a hockey game that night, and I got it so bad because they're like, "Oh, Captain Grab Ass! Oh, watch out, Captain Grab Your Ass! Watch out!" And I'm like, "Hey, greatest captain ever." Sorry, Stephen, you go.
No, it's fine. That was good. They bought out Matt Cook. Also, the leaving was Jordan Leopold, Sean Bergenheim, and Josh Harding had to retire due to MS.
Right.
Shitty. So the number one prospect, technically, because he hasn't played a game yet, is Mike Riley. As a D, like I said, played for University of Minnesota last year.
Doesn't even have to move.
No, doesn't have to move.
Beautiful.
He wanted to stay in his hometown. A lot of Minnesota people do that, though. Like, same with Zach Parise, Ryan Suter. They're the same thing. They just stay home.
Yeah, man, I love the feel of Minneapolis. Like,
Yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah.
I like Minneapolis.
There's something about that too, because like all the Minnesotans that play for the Jets, they like staying here because it's
Well, they're
super
used
close.
to it.
You know?
Yeah,
like,
and we're very
so it's-
similar in cities,
It's
except
interesting that all the Minnesota-born hockey players like staying in the area.
they get used to it. It's
Yeah.
nice. You get.
Yeah,
They're used to
totally.
the cold at this point, right? That's
Yeah, I
what
mean,
it is.
I've never had a Christmas where I've gone somewhere. Like, have you guys gone somewhere for Christmas ever?
No.
Yeah, see, it's like, I don't know if I could deal with that. Like, because I've always, even if it doesn't snow, I see snow.
I did go to Phoenix, actually, this past year.
For
Not for Christmas Day or anything like that,
Yeah.
but I was, like, last December I went to.
Oh, and was it weird? That must have been nice.
It was
though. I'm
different,
talking
but it
spec-
still wasn't, like, super hot. Like, I was, you know what I think? Like, I'm thinking, like, oh, it's going to be, like, 25. It was only, like, 20 degrees. So it was, like, yeah,
It's like
as soon as the
now.
sun went away, it was cold. It was
Yeah.
hot. It wasn't fun.
It's a
yeah.
desert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Again, continuing on, their number 2 prospect, Alex Tuck. I don't know how to say.
Yep.
Yeah, Tuck. He was drafted first round 18th overall last year in the 2014 draft. He's a right winger. He played for Boston College. He's a big body looking for him. He scored it. I think it was him this year who scored in that.
Filthy shootout goal.
Yes,
I'm writing it
yes,
right now. I'm going to
exactly,
tweet
yes.
it. You have to
was
see this.
retarded. And then his
His
celebration. After, yeah, it was
He does
awesome.
like a walking man, like
Yeah.
easy peasy
Yeah.
all day, baby.
And then their third prospect is Joel Eriksson Ek. He was drafted 20th overall this year in the first round. He's a center. He played in the Swedish Hockey League last year, so kind of like a two-way forward.
Mm-hmm.
Then they lost in the second round this year to Chicago, I do believe, in I can't remember how many games.
Five.
Four.
Games?
Oh.
4? No, they get swept, right?
Swept.
Did they get swept?
They get swept, yeah.
Oh,
They were
man.
close games, though. They weren't like, none of them were.
Oh yeah, no.
they were
I
OT,
watched
yeah.
every Minnesota. Like
I remember because they're like 30 in a row. We played Chicago. We're gonna beat them this time.
Yeah.
Didn't win a game.
no, but man, they're
They were-
very entertaining. Like,
Oh, yeah,
I
absolutely.
always watch wild games. I don't know.
It was
why.
kind of like the Jets series, even though it was a sweep. It didn't seem like it was a sweep
No.
because the games were so
They try.
close.
Well, not that nobody tries. Like
Well,
that.
but it was like it could have gone the other.
Even
the
if
other way.
it's down 2-0, they're not defeated. They're just like, let's do it.
Yeah.
We're going whatever. Hey,
But
we
I
gotta
mean-
finish this game. Let's finish strong.
in the sense that Minnesota could have won those 4 games too.
Yeah.
You know.
And then the second team I have is Nashville. They finished second in the Central last year. They went 47, 25, and 10 for 104 points. They signed Cody Hodgson and Steve Moses. He's a guy from
Oh,
the
top scorer in the KHL.
Scored 36 goals in the KHL last year. He's 5'9", small prospect, but he's got the offensive instincts. He should do fine there. Victor Stahlberg got bought out. Cody Franzen is gone, and Anton Volchenkov, and they also traded away Goalie prospect Magnus Hellberg.
I think they also
great
signed.
name.
I think they signed Barrett Jackman.
They did
From
sign
St. Louis.
They did sign that. That was my bad.
Really?
I was trying to remember.
Hey,
where
I missed
I
that
was
one
trying to remember
too.
today
Yeah.
where he went because I saw that he
Yeah.
left. I'm like, where did he go?
Yeah, I'm
I thought
almost.
it was Nashville.
Yeah, because they signed him to replace Volchenkov.
Okay.
That's an upgrade.
Yeah, definitely. And their prospects, their first prospect is Kevin Fiala. He was drafted 11th overall last year in the first round, 2014. He played in the Swedish Hockey League at the beginning of last year. At the end of the season, he went and played in the AHL, and then I think he played one game in the playoffs with them.
Where's he from?
He's
Denmark?
he's Swiss, I do believe.
Yeah.
Swiss.
Okay, because at the World Juniors, he was there. Have you seen how he tapes his stick?
He tapes it lengthwise.
But not only that, the game that I saw, maybe it was only one off. He only did one strip on the bottom.
Yeah.
One strip on the bottom.
Yeah, it looks like a roller hockey tape job actually.
Really? But how do you get grip on that, like to shoot it? I guess
I don't
if
know.
you get used to it.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. Like
Yeah.
we all used to it. Like I remember I used to not understand over the toe, and then actually our friend showed me how to do it, or all of our friend. And then ever since then, I've never not gone over the toe. I
do
just
the
got
Jimmy-
too used to it.
I do the Jimmy Ben.
The 3 stripes in the middle. That's it.
Yeah, I'm very particular. I don't know if it does anything. It looks cool.
You get used to it. I do the Wayne
Yeah.
Simmons. Like if
Yeah.
you're trying to, it's like 2/3 of the blade.
Yeah.
I'm not doing the Braden Shen like 1/8 just on the toe, a strip on the toe. That's it. Like it's ridiculous.
Their second prospect is Jimmy Vesey. He was drafted in the third round, 66th overall in 2012. He's a left wing. He's currently playing for Harvard. He was like second up in the Hobby Baker last year.
Behind Eichel.
Behind
obviously.
Eichel, but he was a stud. They tried signing him, but he's like, I'd rather go back for another year. So if they don't sign him like before that period after season's done next year, he becomes a UFA.
July 1st, I believe.
No, it's before that because he's a UFA.
Oh, 'cause his
it's like the
season.
Mike Riley thing.
Right.
It's the same thing as
Oh.
that. So I mean like they really tried to push this year to get him, but he just was. I mean,
Some
can't-
guys
how
want
can
an
you pass up-
education.
It's Harvard. It's not like you're going to like. It's not like okay, I'm going to UN. Like it sounds bad, UND and stuff like that.
No, exactly.
I don't think your education is nearly at the same level it is. So, yeah. And then their third prospect is a goalie. His name is UC Saros. He was drafted 99th overall in the fourth round, 2013. He's a goalie for the Finnish league. He was actually the backup to Pekarinen in the World Championships this year.
Wow.
So the reason they traded Helleberg is because they think this guy is the real deal. So,
Yeah. Well, hey,
um,
like Hellebuck.
yeah.
for Jets.
So they think that's the plan. They're going to go with him. I think they're going to start him in the AHL because Carter Hutton's got one more year in his deal, and then next year after that he'll be up in the NHL.
Right on.
Yeah.
Excellent. Dan, what do you got us for Jets?
Hometown cleanup.
I think we
All
can
right.
all do this blindfolded. But let's go.
I didn't even have to look any of this
Yeah.
stuff up. I'm just like memory.
Yeah.
Winnipeg Jets in Alex Burmistrov, Matt Fraser, Andrew McWilliam. He's a defenseman. I don't know if he's ever actually played in the NHL before, but
With the Leafs.
there we go.
Right on.
And Matt Fraser was from Edmonton/Boston, I believe.
It's Ed Money, but okay.
And Burmistrov, obviously.
Playing UND.
Former Jets. Out, Michael FLEEK, Yuri Talusti, Eric Odell, TJ Galliardi, Jim Slater, and the one that still baffles me, Lee Stepniak. There was an article that came out this week about him talking to Fox Sports. I think they asked him just why he hasn't signed with anybody, and he came out and said he was hoping to stay in Winnipeg. He loved it here. He loved the atmosphere. You know, he thought it was a place the good team that, you know, was on the rise that he could win with, and he's pretty much said he was told that his spot was going to be used for a younger guy, and he didn't sound.
I'm glad
he didn't sound bitter because he in the article he said, like, you know, they have a lot of great prospects. You know, he said that they didn't completely close the door on him coming back, but he said it doesn't look good right now. So I agree. Like, good on the Jets for saying, you know, we want to use it for, you know, a younger guy, but it sounds like
veteran leadership
it
can
sounds
never
like
be. Experience is invaluable.
It sounds
Yeah.
like the guy really wants to play here. And they
Yeah.
asked him why he hasn't signed with anyone yet, and he said, well, he's picky, he wants to go to a winner. I don't know if he's holding out hope. It sounded to me like he's holding out hope that the Jets maybe change their mind on him.
You know
a
what?
little bit.
All it takes
Because
is one injury, man.
I think the key in this with Stempniak is, I think obviously they want to open up for young guys, but then when Alex Burmistrov is what I'm trying to get at. Alex Burmistrov is not. He's a top 6 forward. He's not. I think they're giving his spot Stempniak. He's not going to thrive
Burmese
on
not
the
a top
foot.
6. He is a third liner.
Come on.
His
Yeah, that's because
his
he
career
rushed him
hi-
into
His
it.
career high in points is 28.
Yeah, because when you're playing with guys like Jim Slater and Chris Thorburn, you're
Could
not getting
he be
anywhere.
a top 6? Yes, but is he there
I
right
think
now?
his spot. I
No
think
way.
that
I think
top
he
6
is.
spot.
I think the stint in the KHL did him like he got the minutes in the KHL. Not that he put up like I'm not saying he was like disgustingly good, but he's not a. He's third line is not where he's meant to be.
No.
That's where he's gonna be though.
I think Burmy has a much better shot than. I'll let you continue, and then we can.
There's more upside to him. I mean, he was brought in to replace Michael FLEEK in terms of him putting up 42 points. I don't see that at all.
All right.
But I mean, the potential is there. So who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Lee Stempniak thing, who knows? Maybe he ends up back here. I posted on Facebook. I think it's a no-brainer to bring that guy back. You're not gonna have to pay him a lot. He's a veteran guy. He had 10 points in the last 16 games he played with Winnipeg. He had 10 points, 6 goals, scored the first home goal in the playoffs.
I'm totally fine dumping old guys for new guys.
Yeah,
Always.
I mean it's tough because they're going young. So they went 43, 26, 13 last year, 99 points, 5th in the Central. They got swept in the first round to Anaheim, which was tough, but it was fun to see them in the playoffs. Personnel changes, not really a change, but they extended Charlie Huddy, Pascal Vincent, and Wade Flaherty, who are the 3 assistant coaches. Yeah. They gave them 3-year extensions, and Paul Maurice signed a 4-year contract last year. So the entire coaching staff is now locked up for the next 3 years. So they obviously see some potential in what they've got. Prospects, okay. There's going to be a lot of turnover on the team this year, and it sounds like there could be quite a few young guys making a spot this year. I did the top 3, not necessarily in terms of who.
No, that's fine.
The best are, but who could be on the team this year.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Number 1, we got Nick Ehlers. He was the 9th overall pick last year for Halifax last year. Regular season, 51 games played. He had 101 points.
Right on.
Playoffs, he played 14 games. He had 31 points, which led the playoffs.
Yeah.
So in 2 rounds, he put up 31 points, which is pretty impressive. So he's their. I think he's the guy they're banking on to kind of be their cornerstone, at least on forward. Then you have Josh Morrissey, 13th overall. He's defenseman, picked in 2013. Last year for Prince Albert / Kelowna. 47 games played, 13 goals, 25 assists for 38 points. Whether he makes the team this year, I think he might be a year off still. But
we'll get to see him with the Moose.
Yeah, absolutely. And then number 3, I have Nick Patan. He was 43rd overall pick in 2013. Last year for Portland, he had 15 goals, 74 assists, 89 points in 54 games played, so not too shabby. Those are the 3 guys that, it looks like they have the best shot at making the team this year, just because there are a lot of spots open. Some notable guys, Andrew Cobb could be on the team this year on the 4th line. Brendan Lemieux could be on the 4th line. Joel Armia could be on the 4th line. And then, of course, there's Connor Hellebuck, which I don't think he'll make to the Jets this year, but the Hockey News did their ranking of all the goalie prospects in the NHL, and they ranked him number 1.
Over Fucali.
Over everybody.
Right. I guess because Fucali technically hasn't played a pro season yet.
So I don't think he'll make it there this year, but lots of promise and high expectations for him.
All right. Now, Dan, I'll let you do the rankings first. For Central, and then we'll go Stefan, or me, and then Stefan.
Okay. Well, in the bottom, I've got Colorado. This was tough because it's a division where the bottom place team can still be 90 points.
Yeah,
so
we all know Central. For the most part, I'm pretty sure every hockey fan can agree
tough.
It's the hardest one.
So what I have right now,
toughest.
I have Colorado at 7. 6th, I have St. Louis. 5th, I have Dallas. 4th, I have Winnipeg. 3rd, I have Nashville. 2, I have Minnesota. Number 1, I have Chicago. Okay. It was hard for me to rank them because I think all these teams are going to, aside from, even Chicago, I think they're all going to be within 15 points of each other from top to bottom. It's going to be tight. I think St. Louis is due for a down year. I really do. Their goaltending's questionable. They've lost some key pieces this year. So, but on the same flip side, if the young guys for the Jets don't pan out, I can see them dropping down to 5th or 6th.
Well, then, since you're doing that, I'll do my projections because they're pretty, kind of similar. 7th, Colorado. 6th, Winnipeg, because exactly what you just said. I don't want it to happen, but I think the young guys, they'll need a year or 2 before they fully come into fruition and then actually make some noise. So I have Colorado, Winnipeg, then St. Louis, Dallas, Chicago, Nashville, and Minnesota top of the ranks. I think it's time. I think it's time Minnesota conquers the evil demon that is Chicago. Even if they just beat them in the first round and lose, just conquer the demon. It's time to slay that dragon. Stefan, let us have it.
We're going bottom to top?
Bottom to top.
Okay, bottom I have Colorado. Then I have Nashville.
Ooh.
Then I have Chicago. I think Nashville, they didn't...
No, go ahead, sorry.
No, I'll explain it. I
Okay.
don't think they've gotten better. I don't see them being like... I think last year, like, they relied strictly on Pecorino. Like, he was disgusting last year. And their offense, like, I mean, they're banking on Mike Ribeiro doing it again. And I just don't see that. He doesn't... He got paid. He got paid now. And now it's like, okay...
Yeah. And players like
Sure.
that, like... Because, let's be frank about it, or let's be blunt, is that players like that, you don't expect that being a top... You're not putting your top pairing against Ribeiro.
Yeah.
And now it's like, well, Ribeiro is their guy,
Yeah.
so you're going to be playing against top line men. Maybe he did, I don't know. But to me, it didn't seem like... You kind of take it lightly. Like, that's like Nathan McKinnon in his rookie year. How he just, like... He did great for a rookie. Like, he had, like, 8 straight games, I think, with a pointer. Maybe even way more than
I think
that.
it was a goal, actually, wasn't it?
A goal a
I
game?
thought it wasn't... Or no, maybe it was points.
No, either way. That's
Yeah.
crazy. He
Yeah.
had some crazy streak. But then the next year, they knew what to expect from him.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of a regression. So I think, I definitely see where you're
I
coming
just
from.
see. And then, like, they're banking on striking... Was it striking thing in a barrel twice? Or whatever it is. I don't know.
Lightning in a barrel.
Lightning barrel?
I don't know.
Something like that. Something along... But, like, with Cody Hodgson, I'm like, I just don't see him...
Oh, yeah.
I
like
think
you're
he
going to
just-
have two,
Like, that's what they went after him because he's cheap. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe we'll do it happen again. Like, what happened with Mike Ribeiro?
Yeah.
I think he's
I don't like Cody Hodgson, and I'm pretty sure most people in Winnipeg, I speak on just Cameron's behalf, but most people in Winnipeg, I don't think like Cody Hodgson because he had some real nice words for the city of Winnipeg and Vancouver when he went to Buffalo.
Yeah.
He was basically said we're a shithole.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, Cody, you can fuck yourself.
So.
Never come back.
Yep. That's
All
not-
right,
Nashville.
Nashville.
So I think they're going to...
Yeah.
Again, it's not like it's a dramatic thing. Like we've
yeah.
mentioned 100 times, it's not going to be like, okay, they're going to be the last place team in
No,
the league. But,
no.
Then I
They'll
have
be in playoff contention, but they'll finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Chicago, and then I have Winnipeg, Minnesota, Dallas, St. Louis.
St. Louis on top, eh?
I think St. Louis is awesome. They're
they're-
the best regular season
They're
team.
monsters in the
They
regular
just-
season.
I'm not saying they're going to do good in the
I
playoffs.
switched
'cause-
around Dallas St. Louis like 3 or 4 times
Yeah.
in my head, and then I finally just switched it. But I'm
Yeah.
like,
They're
I don't
monsters.
know.
They're monsters, but I think they're gold. They have goaltending problems, and it's starting to really come out now.
in the playoffs.
Yeah,
When you look at
I
the
know
regular
that's
season,
true.
They
That's
just
that's
this
true.
season they'll mask it because it's not like not everyone is going 110 this season. As much as they like to say it, they're coasting about 80 at best.
Yeah.
Like that'd
That's
be the-
another thing that a lot of people said for the Jets. They were saying like the Jets were playing. Their Jets are playing playoff hockey for like the last 30 games of the year. So everyone saw their playoff gear.
Yeah.
And then when the Anaheim came to town, they were coasting.
Yeah.
And then like boom, playoff came around. Anaheim's playing their hockey.
Yeah.
Hey, Jets held in there, but holding in there also counts for 60 minutes, not 55 or
If
60
you
plus
don't win
overtime.
in the playoffs. If you don't win the game, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
How well you play.
exactly. Exactly.
It's interesting because I think. I mean, you can say every team has question marks.
Oh, yeah.
Chicago lost a ton of guys. The Patrick Kane thing's floating around. Minnesota, you have the question of if Dubnyk can play like he did last year. Because if he didn't, they wouldn't even be in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing that I originally had Nashville first, and I switched them with Minnesota. I think Nashville. I think they could make some noise.
Nashville, you have the question marks of
Exactly.
if the young guys in Mike Ribeiro can do it again. The Jets, you have a question of if the rookies
Can the young guys do it?
Can the rookies step in and fill the voids left by some of the other guys? I mean, Dallas, their offense is going to be
Okay,
ridiculously
are
good.
we all in
but
agreeing that Dallas is the one team that they're making the playoffs?
I would say they make the playoffs.
Their defense is terrible.
I know, but it's so like
They
two goal
honestly,
scoring lines.
they
How
have
can you
the
stop
worst-
that?
Like, I know it's unreal, but they have the worst. Honestly, probably the worst defense core in the league. Like it's bad. They were I think they had the highest goals against last.
But that
year.
was because of the goalie. The goaltending, like
True.
Kerry Lettinen had, and like I'm not saying he's the god. He had a terrible year. Like you look at his years prior to that in Dallas, he had at par average top 15 goaltending numbers. Last year he was abysmal. Like I don't think he was like I might have been sub 900 save percentage, which is absurd. That's like previous Andre
bad.
Pavlik numbers, right?
It's
I mean
bad.
he was, and he's a good goalie. I think he just had a shitty year. And I think this offseason he's going to turn. They realize, like, holy shit, they just signed like another goalie. Like I might be out. Like I mean, not that Antti Niemi is a god among men either, but
the question mark I have for
That
them
lights
is
the fire there.
yeah,
the
that's
guy that's leading their decor is Johnny Oduya, and he's not a top pair defenseman.
I think you forget about the other guys they have though.
They have Klingberg.
You don't necessarily-
He's on the rise. I mean,
Goligoski's been there and won.
Jamie
it.
That's
Oleksiak
true.
is 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah, and
Whoever had Dallas.
Jordy
like,
Ben's only in the league because his last name is Ben, but that's fine.
How dare you? How dare you?
But I mean, you know what? If they get good goaltending, they'll be a good team. I mean, St. Louis, quite honestly, aside from Colorado, I think any of those other teams could win the division. I think anyone from St. Louis, Dallas, Winnipeg, Nashville, Minnesota, Chicago, I think any of those teams could finish first.
So are we going to make a mini bet here and say that if Colorado finishes first in the division, we eat our own socks?
Let's put it this way. I think
I'll do it.
I think
any finish first? Yeah, I don't think
first in the division.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, I think there's just no way.
I think
there was no way.
The other 6 teams, I think it's a toss-up. They're all so close, and they're all going to, it's...
Well, I don't think any of us, all 4 of us, and even Greg, I don't think we had the same standings at all.
It's tough.
Like, some divisions, it's clear-cut, like, oh, yeah, this is going to happen, this and this.
Let's put it this way. If divisions didn't matter, in terms of playoffs, all of these teams would be in the playoffs.
Ooh.
I think.
Maybe even Colorado would still miss
They
it.
had 90 points. They had 90 points last year. That's pretty good.
True.
It's a tough division to play in.
I don't see them getting better. That was the thing with Colorado. Like, they traded away, again, it wasn't their best centerman because they have just pretty good centerman, and they didn't really get that many NHL-ready players in return for him. Like, they got who?
Soderberg, Grigorenko, Zadorov, Boschman, Como. So let's go down the list.
Yeah.
Soderberg definitely isn't good enough to replace O'Reilly.
No, but I think they got McKinnon's going to slide into number 2, right?
Yeah,
and then
behind Soderberg can replace
Duchesne. Yeah.
Okay, and then Grigorenko will also, he can play center as well.
Yeah.
Zadorov, he's a bit of a project because Buffalo rushed him in, but their D is
sucky.
rough, and hence why they brought in the next guy, Francois Boschman.
Yeah.
On a 3-year deal, leadership. He can take up a little more minutes away from Eric Johnson just to say, hey.
I think the key is Tyson Barrie. If Tyson Barrie can, keep that ship, they have no puck moving D-man. That's it. It's just
he's kind of one of them.
I think he's more of a, kind of Eric Johnson,
defensive
defense.
Yeah.
He's not going to put up a bunch of numbers or anything like that.
Barrie's your guy.
Yeah,
so. And then Como, there you go. It's
he's a depth guy. Price is Danny Briere.
Mm-hmm.
He's terrible in the playoffs. He takes stupid penalties. So
does he?
Yeah, he was with Columbus the year they were in the playoffs, and he took awful penalties, high sticking, 2 minutes left in the game,
like the Andrew Ladd tap on the helmet.
Yes, it was
but consistent.
The fan of the show who's a fan of Columbus despises him. He's stupid Blake Coleman, and he did the same thing last year in the playoffs with he was with Minnesota last year, right?
I thought it was with Pittsburgh.
He was with Pittsburgh, and he took stupid penalties. He just takes dumb penalties.
I gotta keep an eye out for that.
Honestly, watch him
because every guy. Okay, the Jets. Who's their stupid penalty guy?
Ladd and Bufflin. Bufflin's not the best.
Because
I'd say Ladd's the worst.
Flyers right now got rid of their biggest issue penalty guy, Zach Ronaldo. It's all right, woo. Okay, Flyers 5-on-3, 2 minutes left. We're down by 1. It's okay. Let's do this. Wait, why is Ronaldo on the ice? Why is Ronaldo? No! High sticking, good! Woo! Melting off to the rough, unsportsmanlike. Yeah, it's 3-on-3.
What did they trade for him again?
Ronaldo? A second rounder.
Boston, right?
Yeah.
Him and Marchand
I imagine Ron Hextall in his office has a little bit of a powder bowl and he does the LeBron. He's like, hey, Holmgren, come here. I have done it again. I make magic.
Just a hometown question to leave it off on,
yeah, let's do it. Yeah, it'll be last question anyway.
In my opinion, if Nick Ehlers if he's not a top 6 forward, and if Nick Patan, if some of these prospects don't pan out right away, I think the Jets have got worse than they did this year compared to their.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I have them so low.
They're going youth, and they have to at some point. If it bites them in the butt this year and they tank, are there any repercussions like Cheveldayoff gone, anything like that, or do you think because they made the playoffs last year?
And the pool's built.
They're
going to be good, but what if they have a rough year? What happens?
I think they ride it out. I think if it happens 2 years in a row, if it happens this year and next year, or halfway through next year, there will be changes. But I think they're going to be. They're very loyal. These True North. We've learned absolutely. that. There's very little change. Obviously, Noel and a few people went, but it's pretty much the same everything.
But even that, they brought in Noel because that's how loyal they were. Because he was the coach of the Moose, right?
Even then,
so
there you go.
That's what they do. They're pretty.
To answer your question, if they miss the playoffs this year, I don't think so. If they're starting pretty bad at the first half of next year, that's when I expect changes, if any. But I don't think. I hope it doesn't get to.
They're in the wrong division to drop to have it
To have a step back
A
when
step back.
everyone kind of got a little better.
because exactly they're already in a tough division, and every other team probably improved except for Colorado.
And the one team
No
I'm
offense, Greg.
eyeing in this division
But-
again is Dallas, because sure they got Patrick Sharp, but even take away Patrick Sharp and Johnny Oduya, I still think they're going to be better. Even if they didn't get Oduya, because the chemistry is going to be
If
there.
they
now.
can keep the puck out of their net, if they could have kept the puck out of the net last year, they would have been a playoff
Did they
team.
finish? What did Greg say? No, he didn't. They weren't that far to the playoffs. Like
They were
They went on,
7
like,
points behind the Jets.
The last 16 games they played, I think they won like 12 of the 16.
Yeah.
But I
Like,
remember,
it was insane.
I remember
the run they
about
went on.
around February, they were the third highest scoring team in the league, and they had the highest goals against. So that just shows you how bad.
You can't hold on to that. It's not.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
if they can keep the puck out of the net,
Yeah.
they're going to be good.
But Patrick Sharp is also a defensive forward.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's like maybe if they're dating, like we couldn't get a D man, we got a forward who knows how to play D as well, right?
And
so
he's going to teach them a few things, like the young kids
If
too.
they can keep
and
the
see if
puck
they
out
bring
of
in
the net.
Brett Ritchie too, like
Yeah.
a big body.
you
I
can
mean,
miss Nikushkin back. He didn't play
oh
all
my
last year.
goodness,
Like their
Right.
offense only gets
that's
more
why.
dangerous.
That's why I
If
got
they can
him.
keep the puck out of the net, they'll be great.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
question about that.
and they lost their best. I mean, 1A, 1B best player. Sagan was gone for like a month last season, which
True.
and those games he wasn't there, they were like dipping. They lost a lot of games.
Mhm.
And like, was it who hit him in the knee again? He's a D man.
Tyler Sagan.
Yes, he like hurt his knee last year, like an MCL sprain or something like that. I want to say Oliver Ekman-Larsson. I don't know why I'm thinking that. I can't remember who hurt it. Yeah, but he he was gone for like over a month last year, and he still ended up like fourth in the league in points because that stupid tear they went on at the end of the year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
it's-
unbelievable tear.
I think Ehlers should go overseas though
Yep.
for a year.
That's another
Think?
thing.
Yeah.
He was asked, or an article came out saying that if hypothetically you don't make the Jets like the top 6, because that empty spot, I think it's Burmese, but they're going to give it to Ehlers before Burmese.
You can't put Ehlers anything lower than
But
line
no,
two.
that's what I'm saying. So if Ehlers doesn't earn it and they think, hey, Burmese a notch a little better, Ehlers, they can't send him to the A. He's proven what he could do in junior. He said he's going overseas.
Who's your top 6?
Jets?
Yeah.
Well, you got, in my opinion, you got Scheifele, Stafford, Wheeler as your first line. Then I'd put Ehlers with Scheifele and Wheeler.
Okay, that's fine.
And then I do Lad Little, Stafford, line 2, and then line 3 I do Lowry, Perreault, Burmistro.
Weren't they saying they were going to try and move Perreault up there and give him some more like?
Is that what I mean?
like,
It's
I would.
So
yeah.
the guy getting the
The thing
shaft
with the-
hypothetically is Stafford then, because
You said Perreault.
no, but I meant Stafford was on. So watch out. Perreault is going to be on the top line.
The thing with the
Stafford,
Jets
or put
is-
Perreault on.
I think it's Little. Was it Scheifele, Wheeler, and Stafford that played together last year?
and I say you
That's
swap
a line.
for Ehlers.
And I think you keep the Little, Lad, and
Stafford
I
or
would put
Perreault.
I would put Perreault in there. Give
Yeah.
him some offense.
True.
And then I mean, like I just don't like Ehlers is still a smaller guy. Like, again, I don't think he's physically ready for the Griggers, especially in the Central. Like, it's not in like the Western Conference alone. Like, he's gonna get
In my opinion,
Beat
he'll get the first 9-10 games,
yeah.
and if he can't hang on the in the top 6, I think he's going overseas for the year. I don't think there's any point in playing him on a 3rd or 4th line.
No, it's
not gonna help
It's not suited. It's not
No.
gonna benefit. He's
So
not.
if he can't, and you know what, I put him with Wheeler and Scheifele, because they're 2 of the fastest guys in the team.
Yeah.
Is he left or right-handed?
Right.
Is he right?
A lot of righties.
Yeah.
I flipped my paper here just to see, just even look at Colorado and Chicago's prospects. There's only one guy that isn't below 200 pounds or 195 on this list, and it's Nick Schmaltz, and he's like 2 years away anyways.
Yeah, he's,
So it's
he's
like-
a stud.
And like Ehlers, that's if he put on weight, he'd be like 175, 180. Like I
Yeah.
think at camp, like at that development camp, they weighed him in at like 160 or something like that, like
Yeah.
165. And they have 2 guys like that, like Patan and Ehlers. It's
And
like,
if he plays that third line, he's just gonna get annihilated.
you're playing big boys.
Yeah.
And then, but the nice thing too is if he's not ready, they
They
can
have
wait.
the luxury of sending him away, and
But does that count a year of his contract?
No.
It doesn't if he's
No.
playing in because technically he's past junior, right?
That's true.
oh,
Because he's not going back because he won't be going back to junior. He'll be going. They'll be loaning him. Is what they have to do, right? Because they're loaning him overseas.
so that burns a year in his contract.
I would almost guarantee. I could be completely wrong, but
Yeah.
I think that burns a year of his contract
I think it would.
because you're loaning him out to someone else.
I will look into it, and we'll talk about it next podcast. That's perfect. Rookie contracts. All right, any closing words, guys?
No. What are we gonna do next week? We're done our Preview.
I don't know. We're gonna have to do something.
Jeez.
We could hypothetically talk about the Jets the whole time. We could. I don't know. We're gonna have to think of
I
something,
think we just
or
talked
maybe,
about everything there is to talk
or
about
maybe
right now.
big news will pop out. I mean, we only have 3 weeks away from training camp, so we
Yeah,
just
sure.
have to make 2 weeks last,
We do
and then
like lineups or something like that, like AHL and NHL lineups.
we
for,
good.
for the Jets. I'm just,
Yeah,
yeah.
let's do it. Well, we'll do that, and then we'll go on. And we'll
Like depth,
reconvene.
like make your depth chart for the NHL and the AHL.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. Well, until next time, this has been Last Man In Podcast. If you want to contact us, you can email us at lastmaninpc@gmail.com. Hit us up on Twitter at lastmaninpc. Our YouTube is Last Man NPC. Thanks, everyone, actually leaving comments and listening on that. That's awesome on YouTube.
I just
That's
realized
sweet.
we didn't say anything about the Devils.
What do you mean about
Devils
that?
fans going to be mad.
What the
He
Devils?
said talk more about the Devils, remember?
Oh, my goodness.
We didn't say anything.
I don't have any Devils.
I don't
news.
have any
Yeah,
Devils
nothing.
news.
I'm
I-
so sorry, Devils fan.
They haven't
just-
folded yet. They
you
haven't
You know
been
what?
sold.
You know what? There you go. There you go. If you have any questions or anything, ask us. We're going to answer them next podcast.
Yeah,
We'll
we
do
got-
Q&A.
You know what? Yeah. We're going to do a
Rapid
Q&A.
fire.
Any questions ever, shoot them over.
Personal or hockey?
About anything. Doesn't
Personal, preferably not social insurance stuff. But I mean, other than that, it's okay. Like, I'll put my phone number. No, I'm not. All right. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.